Let's open this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, number two, open public forum. Anybody that's not on the agenda wishes to speak. Otherwise, we will move on to number three, approval of the agenda. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Gary makes the motion. How about a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Consent agenda. Recommendation to approve the consent agenda as presented. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Doug makes a motion. How about a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Number five, public hearing on tax abatement for Pilgrim's Pride. Katie Riggleman and Brandon Calvert, Austin Consulting, and Wes Smith, Pilgrim's Pride.
Sure.
Wes, you want to put the speaker on, or microphone on for that one?
Yep.
Or I can maybe do it for you here. From here.
See it, here it is.
Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, excuse me. So, I'm Wesley Smith, I believe I've spoken to a few of you. We're here to talk about the tax abatement. The first thing I want to mention is that this project is going forward. We're in progress, we'll see that wall by Highway 23 come down with the temporary wall go up. What we're looking to discuss is an abatement of the future taxes this project will bring. It won't change the revenue that we've seen historically. Some high-level pieces of the project, we're looking at bringing in another 130 team members to the site. That will bring our total plant staffing up near that 1,150 paid positions with up to 1,300 total, counting absenteeism, vacations, rotations, and everything like that. We're looking at specifically changing most of our mix, so the truck traffic is not going to change substantially. We're not going to increase our capacity to process new live birds that much, only 7%. But what we are looking to do is change from putting it into a bulk box into a consumer retail form. The trays that you see in the grocery store here in town at Teals, more of the Just Bear particular brand. We're looking at expanding that nationally. The total project cost is running about $80 million right now with contingency. Most of those checks have already been written. $50 million of that is equipment. And we are doing as much local subcontracting out as we possibly can. With the project of this size, with the amount of time we're going to be down, it will be a 2-week shutdown. So a lot of some bigger contractors are going to be involved, but they are subcontracting with people like Augusta Electric that are familiar around town. With that said, I do have a layout drawing if anybody wants to see, but right now the anticipation is that when you look from 23 towards our facility, there's that newer section towards the Mississippi topsoils, and then there's the rake concrete that's kind of subset. You're going to see that whole building pulled towards 23. It'll be a nice, the smooth concrete like you see on our most recent expansion all the way forward. So that's what we're here to discuss. Is there any questions around that?
You said there's not going to be any more, pretty much not any more birds?
Negligible compared to the cost. It's going to be, we currently process, it's going to be about a 7% increase overall.
Oh,
if you want to think of it that way. That's not the main feature of what we're trying to do. It may be in the future. But right now, if you look at what we do in our plant, about 22% goes to a consumer mix, and we're looking to expand that to 50.
Okay.
So it takes more people, more process, more equipment to take it from putting it into a box that maybe one person can fill into putting it in a tray that you have to touch and box.
Okay. You have something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious, of those 130 potential jobs, what's the starting wage?
So, great question. Our starting wage for most of those jobs are going to be our general production. It's $14.56, and it quickly rises in scale after that. The average wage in our facility is close to that $13, $17.30, somewhere in that ballpark. It of course depends on the function where they're at. We'll be hiring utilities leads. I'm looking at 8 new salary team members as well. It's still in the budget process that. But yeah, maintenance that goes with this that are typically much above that.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody got anything else? I will.
Well, let's have Jess kind of.
Oh, Jess, yes.
Can you turn off your mic first?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Jess, go ahead.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Jessica with Northland Securities. Nice to see you all again. So Northland prepared a memo for you that I believe is in your packet along with some scenarios for your consideration throughout regarding tax abatement. So the memo really outlines just high level some of the details of the overall project as we understand it based on the application that was received by the city. And then speaks to really what abatement is and how it works and sort of dispelling any sort of inconsistencies about how people typically think about abatement. So I'll talk about that in a bit. But first, just highlighting some of the pieces in the memo. I certainly won't read it to you verbatim, but stick to some of those high-level details. So what we know or understand of the project is that the developer is looking at an expansion project that will consist of an approximately 50,000 square foot two-story addition to the existing facility that exists in Cold Spring today. Based on our conversations with the county assessor, we are anticipating that an overall market value increase would be approximately $400 million. So that's the number that we've used when we've run some of the abatement scenarios that we'll go over in just a few minutes. So based on the scenarios that we put together, and we did put together 3 scenarios for council consideration, the numbers that we have here based on those scenarios and based on the assumptions that we've used run between $272,960 up to about $546, just shy of that, $546,000, depending on the term and of course what council is most comfortable with. But we did make some assumptions and we'll go over those when we get to the actual scenario. In terms of overall public purpose, the public purpose of the abatement here would be to assist a project that would either increase or preserve the tax base, and then also to create new jobs within the city. And as you just heard, the company is proposing to add about 130 new jobs as a result of the project. The company is requesting that abatement is received to offset the cost of the upfront construction and then some of the ongoing costs as a result of the increased employee count, some utility costs, and then also the increase in overall property taxes. It should be noted, and it's included in your memo, and Wes also mentioned this when he first sat down, that when we received the application, there was a question as to where the expansion may locate. The developer has determined that they are going to move forward with the expansion in Cold Spring. Northland has not done a review of any sort of financial information to determine financial need, so that should be stated as well. That's not uncommon in these types of requests, that we don't actually get a performer to go along with it, but just want council to be aware of that. In terms of overall tax abatement is often thought of as a reduction or an elimination of taxes, and that's actually not accurate, at least it's not here in Minnesota. So how tax abatement actually works is the approval of a tax abatement is really the authority to levy a special tax or an abatement levy. So that's what we'd be considering here. So in terms of round numbers purposes, let's say that we have a project that creates $20,000 in overall increase in the city portion of taxes. That amount that is increased in the overall city portion of taxes, the city would then place an abatement levy, much like your operational levy or your debt service levy. And that increase in the property taxes, along with the increase in the debt service levy, would essentially, the abatement levy would essentially cancel each other out, leaving the city's tax rate the same. So that's how abatement works in Minnesota. Again, it is somewhat of a misleading term in that it is oftentimes thought of as an elimination of taxes, and that is not what we're considering here. So whenever a city or taxing jurisdiction is considering abatement, a public hearing is required. That's what we're doing here tonight. And then following that public hearing, the city would then be considering a business subsidy agreement with the developer as well, anytime that the combined assistance is over $150,000. Now, based on the scenarios that we've run, all of these scenarios are over that $150,000 threshold, which would indicate that a business subsidy would be required with the developer. If the city council chose not to move forward or to do something that was less than $150,000, then that business subsidy would not be required. So that's about all I have for the actual memo itself. Are there any questions about how abatement works, about the actual application that was received by the city, or anything else related to abatement before I discuss the scenarios in your packet?
Anybody got anything?
Nothing here.
Nope.
Okay, so first we'll start with scenario A, and this assumes that the city would provide abatement assistance for a total of 10 years. So what we should start out with for all of the scenarios, what this assumes is that the city would provide 75% of the new portion of city taxes as a result of the expansion project back to the company. And that's what the application request was for, 75% of the new value and the new portion of property taxes. So based on 10 years and a value of approximately $4 million and the city's current tax rate, what we're estimating is around $27,300 per year. So over 10 years, we're looking at $272,960. And then going on to scenario B, so same level of assumptions here, just 5 additional years. We're up to $409,440. And then the last scenario that you have, scenario C, is for 20 years. And that one, the total there is that $545,920. When it comes to abatement, cities and other taxing jurisdictions are allowed to go up to 15 years. In the event that one of the other taxing jurisdictions declines to participate, you can go up to 20. So that's why we've got the 15 and the 20. Those are allowed from a statutory perspective. Again, with the 20 being if one jurisdiction declines. We included that scenario A, that 10 years, in there for your consideration, being that what we've heard is that the county may be considering a limit on their potential participation. We don't know if they're going to participate at this point, but that they're going to be considering a 10-year term. So we wanted the city council to see that as well. Now, in no case is the city council required to do any of these scenarios. We just wanted them to be before you for your consideration, your discussion. But whatever the city council wants to do, it's certainly up to the council to approve, deny. We can certainly look at other options. The resolution that you have in your packet tonight allows for the granting of the abatement authority. That being said, the actual abatement that's provided back to the developer would be limited by a development agreement that would come back to you at your next council meeting on October 13th. So if you approve the abatement authority this evening, the way that the resolution is written, then it's for a maximum of 20 years. But that would be limited further by whatever the council decides to put into the development agreement should you decide to move forward with the abatement. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
Anybody got anything?
I don't have a question, maybe more so as a comment.
David, do you have your?
Oh, sorry. It won't let me turn my mic off or on.
Hold on, I'll see if I can.
Okay.
It does not let me. Okay, can you speak really loud?
Can everyone hear me? I'm gonna hope so. So,
Jess, can you hear
Can
him?
you hear him? I can hear you now. I couldn't hear anything there for a
See if
minute.
you can get Jamie now.
can you hear me now?
Just slightly.
It's actually more for pilgrims. So, back in October, the Times ran an article that Pilgrims was going to donate this massive amount of money to Minnesota. And here we are today where Pilgrims is asking us to forgive a massive amount of money. So to say the timing of that article and you being here is not the best. But being that as it may, I had a couple of people approach me and, for lack of a better word, say, what's going on? Why is it this way? Why is it this way? And the only thing I offered them was, according to the article, it was Pilgrim's trying to do what's right based on the current situation that our country is in. I don't know if that's a fair assessment. That's how I read it in the Times article. So, and I appreciate the questions that Gary asked, because I had similar questions. 130 more employees, above average, above minimum wage pay, no increase in truck traffic, and you're trying to make the best use of your building and your space, which makes sense. And as a city resident, I can certainly appreciate that. I just wanted to, thanks. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you have any comment on that, or if you can comment more on why Pilgrim's made such a donation to the city and where that money might go. And I don't know if we know yet, or...
Sure, I can speak to some
Okay,
of this.
please, thank you.
Okay, so I'm off mute now. So the question was kind of the timing with Pilgrim's program is called Hometown Strong. It's part of the JBS network where we're donating money back to communities. And the timing of asking for a tax payment at the same kind of a thing, which is kind of like, hey, I'll give you this, can I have that, to a degree. At least that's the way it can be perceived, right? So I'll say those are two very different independent programs. We knew we were doing this Hometown Strong program well before we knew this was approved. This had kind of been kicked around for, I'm going to say, since I've been here about 3 years, whether we were going to do one thing or another. So the program, where the money's going to go, I've had some discussions with Bridget and some other leaders around town. We have a general ballpark, and I can provide that, but it's not a guarantee yet until the board of directors actually approves and authorizes that money. So I'm allowed to propose what I think would be a good community use, and I've worked with kind of community leaders here in St. Cloud to kind of figure out where the best use is. Really the ask for this project is tied specifically to the capital requirements of the infrastructure of this much larger project that we're trying to do that will benefit the community over many more years, right? As much as I'd love to say Hometown Strong is going to be every year, we can't promise that. That's something we're trying to do for an immediate impact to help out. And then this project's going to be something we can bring to the community long term. Now again, we're going to do this kind of either way, but it's a large capital cost right now in an economy that's not the best. So it was a big sales pitch to try and get that. But yeah, I would definitely say those are two way different things, and if the project wasn't going to happen, Hometown Strong definitely would. That's in process. We've done it at other locations. The only thing I'm waiting on right now is actually a partnership with Centricare, trying to figure out how they can best use some of that funds. The minute that's decided, I'll be proposing the board of directors where we're going to go.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure. Does that answer all the...
Yep, that answers your questions, yeah.
Okay.
Unmute you.
Okay. Then I can go on to asking for public comments. I'm going to do that 3 times. Anybody have any comments or questions? Going once?
If any of you online have a question, just unmute yourself. If not, just stay muted.
Going twice? What, 3 times? And the chair will close this public hearing at 6:48. And then we're going to discuss amongst the city council members. Any discussion?
Unmute yourself if you have a discussion question.
Anybody got anything? Go ahead, Doug.
I'll just go on record to say I would be okay with a 10-year, but nothing more than a 10-year. So that's just my 2 cents.
It's a good 2 cents.
And I guess for me, I would like to see, because I think were you at the county today, was it? Yeah. So what was the results of the county?
Yeah, so the county had, there's a different approval process there. They had a committee that met, that heard about the project. We discussed the different project initiatives, and they decided to move forward with telling the county board to hear it. And so this morning, the county board met, and they did promote a public hearing that will be taking place on October 6th.
Okay.
And we met with Corey at the school district meeting as well last week. And they also approved moving forward to a decision next week.
Okay. Thank you.
So nobody approved any?
Any time frame?
No, it's a two-step process similar to this.
Okay.
Okay.
We were the first public hearing on the schedule.
Correct, yeah.
So they were waiting to see what happens here.
Well, I'm on board with Doug where I'm feeling no more than 10 years if it comes down to it. And I'd like to hear what other entities Stearns Quarry is thinking, so,
Well, Stearns is thinking the 10-year max.
yeah.
Are we gonna decide that tonight, or do we decide that another night?
Jess, should they make that motion tonight so that the agreement that comes on the 13th will have that? Oh, start over. I muted the TV.
Sure, I think that if some guidance could be provided so that we could give that to bond council to inform the development agreement that would come back for your next meeting, I think that would be the best case. You certainly don't have to make a hard decision tonight, even if the development agreement comes back on the 13th, you could still make changes at that point. But it would be nice to have sort of a term to give back to Chris Berta.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll read the.
Doug's got a question.
Doug has a question.
Oh, Doug, go ahead.
One other question, is there a possibility that Corey or the county could not have zero, or could go to zero abatement?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna read that recommendation. Recommendation to approve, just go approve or deny, Resolution 2020-48, a resolution approving or denying a business subsidy request from Pilgrim's Pride. I need a motion up or down on this.
I would make a motion to approve it for 10 years.
Jamie makes a motion to approve for 10 years.
I'll second that.
Gary seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise,
I would say
Oh,
I'll
go
do
ahead.
it based on, is there something we can put in there, or is it obviously,
Do you want it to be that,
I mean, I don't want it to be like 10 years and we're done. I want to have an option after looking at what other people might be doing, or,
Can we leave it at up to 20 and then in the developer agreement choose what we want?
yes. As we get close, Jess, we can make it say up to 20 years and then refine it once we know what the other two jurisdictions are doing, correct? Or you could make it up to the, hold on, Jess, up to the 15, because if the other two approve, the max will be 15.
Yep, you could certainly do that. The resolution just provides the authority to use the abatement, and it's further permitted by the actual development agreement. But yes, if both are going to participate, you'd be limited to 15.
So what you could do is just approve it, go ahead with it, and I can monitor what the other two jurisdictions do. And Jess and Chris, Bert and I can hone that document for the 13th.
Do I need to rescind my motion?
yes, I would say you'd have to.
Yeah.
So I'll rescind my motion,
Okay.
and I'll make a new motion to approve for up to 15 years.
And I'll second that.
And Gary will second it. Go ahead, Doug.
Someone's not online for them to hear it, I guess.
So now, just so I'm clear, so now the motion is going to be up to 15.
Up to the 15.
And not the 10.
Yeah.
So it could go 15. Am I?
More than likely, the way they should do this. The way everybody's understand, or the feeling about it is probably gonna be 10, more than likely. I guess we could have probably left it at 10, but
If everybody else goes 0, we have the option.
to opt out of it too yet, just like they did.
Okay, but to my point, I'm not
Yes.
comfortable going more than 10, and now I'm hearing it's a possibility of 15, so, I mean, I guess, for lack of better words, I can't vote for that motion because I'm dead set that I want to do a 10-year, not a 15. So with that motion, that's telling me it could go 15, but maybe stay at 10, but we don't know that for sure, correct? Is that what I'm
Yes,
hearing?
that's what
Okay.
the motion is.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Against?
Aye.
Okay, roll call. Jamie?
Aye.
Doug?
Against?
Shannon?
yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right, motion carries 4-1.
Jess and I will keep you informed of where the other two are at and have a variety of documents available for the final decision that made on the 13th.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, number 6, adopt proposed preliminary levy, resolution 2020-49. That would be Chris. Hello.
Hi. Chris, that is muted, so if you will unmute the mic.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I haven't been back since we've been doing it this way, so this is different.
Yes.
You can take that off when you're speaking if you like.
Okay. Can you hear me better if I do?
Yeah,
Okay.
either way.
All right. So we're here tonight to talk about the preliminary tax levy. For the folks at home, we had a special city council meeting on September 3rd and went over the budget very thoroughly. The council worked several hours to go through it and make sure that we kept the tax levy increase as low as possible. And we're here tonight to hopefully get that approved. We're looking at a 3.41% increase from last year. So the tax levy would go from, the tax rate, from a 0.45 to a 0.47. Very small increase. Is there any questions from the council? I put in all the changes that we talked about at the meeting, and everything stayed exactly where we had left it after the meeting that day.
Anybody got anything?
Nothing from me.
No?
Then I'll
Thank
read
you.
the recommendation. To adopt resolution 2020-49, a resolution adopting the preliminary 2021 tax levy collectible in 2021. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Gary makes a motion to approve. How about a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank
All
you,
right,
Chris.
thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you guys for your hard work. It makes it
Yes.
so much easier for us on this. You're welcome.
Well, let's hope some of those scenarios that others talk about don't happen.
Yes, exactly. Number 7, Fire Department report. Mr. Weber.
Council, Mayor,
Hey, Lynn.
how we doing? Good. Just going to give you a brief update on the month of September. Right now, we're at 30 calls. Quiet day today, but it was busy yesterday. We had 3 of them in about 4-hour time.
Dan, you're muted. Will you unmute that? You need help? I can unmute you.
Is that better?
I would think so.
Okay, you are unmuted.
It's for the people that are watching.
Okay. So far, we've had 30 calls for the month of September. Like I said, yesterday was a busy day, but 25 of them were rescue calls, 2 fires, one car accident and one false alarm. Both of the fires, one of them was a building explosion, and the other one was a basement fire. So I called in mutual aid for Rockville on the shed explosion. But so yeah, it's been pretty busy. To date, I believe we're at 323 calls for the year so far, which is right on track with what we've been every other year. So, any questions for me on fire department?
Somebody got anything?
No.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. We're gonna have some kind of a plan for fire prevention in October. Not real sure what we're gonna do yet. We usually go up to the schools, but that's pretty much not gonna be we'll probably do a thing where we'll get bags set up for the kids, and we'll just bring them up there, and the teachers can distribute them that way, kind of a thing. Usually we go in there, talk with the kids, but we can't do any of that this year, so.
And you haven't Operation Edith yet, or?
Well, this year is where we would drive around town.
Yeah.
Yep, and just have, Operation Edith is exit drill in the home, an exit plan for your family to meet at an outside spot away from the buildings that are on fire or whatever's going on, away from there, out by the road, so you all get there at one, get there so you know that you're all accounted for. That way, when we get there, we can, ask somebody, is everybody out of the house? So every year we try to have the kids practice that, but this year we'll just go around town and kind of give, thank you to everybody that participates in it, so. But the kids really have fun with that too, so, and so do our people. So, all right, anything else from you? Otherwise?
They got anything? Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
I did not unmute.
Okay, Public Works Director report, John Stevie. Is he real?
Yeah, he's right up there.
Where is he? Oh, there you are, John.
Hold on, John.
Right here. I don't have any requests for action tonight, just a few updates. We're ironing out the details with the brewery. Key component to this is their influent load to the pre-treatment plant. I want to make sure that we get the pre-treatment plant designed properly. So it's kind of the ball's in their court to give Stantec the proper information so that we can get this rolling. With fall here now, fall cleanup is always a thing. It'll be starting here soon. Leaves falling when you're mowing your grass and cleaning up your leaves. Reminder, don't blow them onto the street. Very big problems for the storm sewer when the leaves and stuff go down. You'll see the sweeper out quite a bit once the leaves start falling. I might be a little early on this, but I just want to remind the people, when you clean up your yards, don't throw it on the street. With the pavement on First Street South done now, they're finishing up the second half of seeding. We'll be starting hydrant flushing here in a couple weeks. We'll put it on the marquee, we'll put a notice out in the paper, I'll notify the businesses that have to change some things in their buildings as we flush. Just kind of a pre-warning, it'll be happening in a couple weeks, but there will be notifications going out soon for that stuff. So otherwise, that's all I have. If anybody has any questions for me.
Anybody got anything for John?
Nope.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Then we go to number 9, City Engineer Report. You're not Brian. Sorry.
Jeremy, can you turn that one, or I'll do it.
Can you do it for me?
I think so. See, let's see.
Looks like we're unmuted. Good. Well, good evening, Mayor, members of the council.
Hi.
No, you're still muted.
Should I try and do it? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, good evening. We thought Chris hadn't been here in a while. It's really been a while since I've been here. Yeah. But it's good to be back and see folks. So I have a few updates that Brian gave to me. John hit on a few of them already. But I'll just go through these, you probably have them too, but I'll go through them. So County Road 158, First Street, I drove through, it's looking really nice on the east end. John mentioned that seeding's done, so they're just working their way west. Now the sidewalk and the driveways are in, so it's cured out, so they're gonna start working on the rest, so that looks good. Paving's done, the workhorse obviously would be next spring, 2021, so project looks really great. Brian mentioned trees are gonna be going in the next couple weeks in the boulevard, so that looks great. Just go ahead and stop me if you have any questions as we go here. Otherwise, I'll keep going through. The water treatment plant, maybe John mentioned, the plans have been submitted to the Department of Health. They're reviewing them, and I'm sure we'll get some comments back. But we've met with staff, we've got some comments, and just trying to finish up those plans, so that's going well. Well pumps 8 and 9 and the overhead power up there. This week they got the erosion control stuff in place. They're going to start some of the utility work, the piping, I think Thursday. So they're watching that, and then the road work and the overhead power will continue shortly thereafter. So that's getting started up and looking good. I know we've got a erosion control inspection scheduled for tomorrow already. They're not wasting any time to get up there and look at it. So I think the contractor's got his ducks in a row and everything's set up for him. So good. Pushing forward with that one too. Let's see. Next one, Brian just mentioned the sanitary sewer and water system improvements. Design work is still ongoing. He mentioned this summer and the past one, that they're just kind of looking at the areas, where's the bedrock going to be an impact, how do we best and most cost effectively navigate those things to get that designed and avoid conflicts. So that one's still in the works. The industrial wastewater plant, pre-treatment plant, John touched on. Yeah, there's modeling going on, trying to make sure everything works with the amount of strength of material being sent there by the brewery. So to be continued. Staff is working well with John on that one. And the last one I have on here is Blue Heron Heights 4th edition. The contractor is going to be working on getting some bids for the project. They're bidding that privately. I think they got about a week and a half. They want numbers. They kind of had a pre-construction meeting kick off to get some of the grading work going, so that's moving as well. I think I also heard from Dan Salo, one of our inspectors, that some workhorse paving was scheduled for this week up at River Links, one of the phases up there. I don't know if that's in the report. So kind of a long list of things there, but I can try and answer any questions you have or relay comments back to Brian, or John can step in and fill in the blanks if he needs to.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everybody. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Then we'll move on to number 10, Police Department report. Chief Gould.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening.
Chief.
Just a couple things from me. One is just an update for the month of August. In Cold Spring, we had 337 total incidents, 24 medicals, 6 suspicious activities, 114 traffic stops with 35 citations, and 193 miscellaneous calls for service. And then in Richmond, we had 101 total incidents with 8 medical emergencies, 6 suspicious activities, 37 traffic stops with 13 citations, and then 50 miscellaneous calls for service. So getting busy. Actually, the last 2 months we've been extremely busy, so just keep marching forward. But everything seems to be going well. One of the things we have coming up, I sent out an email last week to Bridget to send out to you guys about they're putting stencils, the Stearns Benton TZD Coalition, City of Cold Spring, our police department, and the Rocori school districts are teaming up to put stencils in each of their parking lots. It's going to start with the high school and kind of span out to all of theirs. It's just a buckle up stencil that's going to each of their parking lots. I believe the RAD, the Rocori against destructive decisions. There we go. And then the 5th grade DARE classes are also doing an educational piece along with that. But they're going to help put in the stencils, and hopefully it reminds people to wear seatbelts. So there's photos tomorrow. That's going to be at 9:25 if anybody's interested in coming to that. And then there'll be a press release going out with that, so just want to make you guys aware if you have any interest, and I can keep you up to date on. And the thing I put September 4th, that was a typo, it's at September 24th, so it's tomorrow. I didn't tell you, a couple weeks late. But at 9:25, so if anybody's interested, let us know and we can update you with anything that may change. Outside of that, I don't really have much more for you guys tonight.
All right. Anybody got anything for Jason? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You need that one? Thank you.
And we'll go on to number 11, City Administrator Report.
Mayor and Council, I have two things that are related. The first one is a resolution related to the remaining CARES Act funds. As you know, in August, we had spent, from March to August, we spent about a little over $16,000 of the $316,000 that we got from the state of Minnesota, the state of Minnesota for CARES Act use. This, all the departments went through, and that resolution lists in Exhibit A all of the expenses for city use. One thing is the chairs that you're all sitting on are going to have backs that are replaced and have backs that are plastic, or plastic surround and meshing, so when you touch it, it's easier to clean and keep it safe. And the arms will also be metal or leather or pleather that are easier to clean than these fabric ones. So that total amount, if you look at the resolution, is, let me pull it up, including what you've already approved and we've spent, the city share of that $316,000 is going to be $151,145.77. So that remainder was available for business grants, business relief grants. If you look at Exhibit B, those are all the applicants that made it through last Friday. The county up to theirs, originally they had a $7,500 cap that you had approved in August, and then they went up to $15,000 because they weren't getting the applications that they thought they would get, and they got applications from quite a bit more than that $7,500. So, as you can see, the 293 that was requested at that 15,000 cap would exceed what we have left. But the county, it's about 169,000 difference. The county's willing to give us that 169 to make all these applicants that are requesting up to 15,000 whole. So there's quite a bit of our applicants were over 7,500, and about half to 2/3 are over 15,000. So I guess what I'd like for this resolution is to tell me which one of Exhibit B columns to, when you make them, if you approve it, which column you're approving, the 15 or the 75. And there is, Councilmember Tyson showed me, and there needs to be an update. If you look at Cold Spring Lakes Eye Clinic, they didn't put any of their rent at that $14,998.56, so they really should get the $1.64 more to make it 15,000. So that's a typo on my part. They did submit some more information, and I just didn't update this sheet. So they would be at that full 15,000 if you're willing. Well, the request would be over, but their eligibility would still be that 15,000. So that is that first resolution on there.
I'll read that resolution then. To approve Resolution 2020-50, a resolution approving of additional CARES Act funding use and distribution to local businesses, and to increase funding small business relief grants up to $15,000 per business. I need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve
Yep.
at 15,000.
I'll second.
Gary makes a motion to approve up to 15,000, and Jamie seconds it.
Does this hurt us in any way? I mean, like, I feel stupid. I mean, like.
No.
Okay,
at all.
okay. It just seems so silly.
Any other discussion on it?
Just like,
Otherwise, all those in
of course.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Duh.
And now it's the next, so it would have been a difficult thing because we would have had some wiggle room to give some over 75 and some 15 if the
Yeah.
county hadn't bumped up. They were gonna give us 79,000 to begin with, and they bumped it up to 168. And so
Right.
this agreement, so B, the draft agreement, is that agreement for that dollar amount.
Okay.
I do have to revise the final number, like I said, but I could do that after our meeting, so you can sign it. It does say if you approve it, that you and I would set it up, get it corrected, and I can do that after this meeting, so it can be ready to go tomorrow to the county.
Okay.
And then those checks will be cut out by the end of the week for those businesses.
I think that would be really great.
Yeah.
So I just need the recommendation for the agreement.
The recommendation to approve the agreement with Stearns County for the CARES Act Small Business Relief Program and authorize the city administrator and mayor to sign the document when the final calculation of the amount is determined. I need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Doug makes a motion, how about a second?
I'll second that.
Shannon seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
That's all I had.
All right. I should unmute this too. Okay, number 12, list of bills and additions. Recommendation to review and accept payment of the accounts payable according to the list and supplemental list presented by city staff. I need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Jamie makes a motion, how about a second?
I'll second it.
Doug seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Number 13, general questions and comments from city council. Jamie,
Nothing from me, sir.
Doug,
Nothing.
Shannon.
Oh, the splash pad looks awesome. With all the grass coming in
Yes, it
and
does.
people enjoying it. So I love being able to walk by that and see that. So I hope everyone's out enjoying that and was able to enjoy that for the short period of time that we had. But that's all I have,
Okay.
so.
Gary,
Nothing.
and I have nothing. Okay, number 14, closed meetings. You gotta read all three of these?
All three of them.
Okay. A, closed meeting pursuant to Minnesota statute, section 13D.05 subdivision 3C3 to consider an offer to purchase property within the city of Cold Spring, specifically parcel with PIN number 48.29705.002. Then B is closed meeting pursuant to Minnesota statute, section 13D.05 subdivision 3C3 to consider an offer to purchase or to develop a counter offer property within the city of Cold Spring, specifically parcels with PIN 48.259316.0943 and 48.29316.0909 and 48.29316.0910. Also, the letter C is closed meeting pursuant to Minnesota statute, section 13D.05 subdivision 3B, attorney-client privilege.
Okay, let me end.